Glass Tiger.
Larry Gowan.
Bryan Adams.
Alanis Morissette.
Blue Rodeo.
Tragically Hip.
Tragically Hip.
The Tragically Hip.
Tragically Hip is a group that clearly has captured the hearts of so many, the collective consciousness in a way of so many people who feel that they represent what it is to be Canadian.
And he played me something, and I thought, man, this is real interesting stuff. He said, yeah, but we both joked. We said, we got to get the lead singer to lose his vibrato. Well, I'm glad we didn't get him to lose his vibrato, or Kenny didn't get him to lose his vibrato, but he went on. I think Gord is one of the seminal poets of rock anywhere.
I remember the first time I met Tom Cochrane, it was in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and Red Ryder were backing up April Wine at the Agriplex. And I remember him on stage breaking into, I believe it was White Hot. That's the kind of song to pull off live, you gotta have the goods. And I remember watching him do that on stage in Yorkton thinking, this guy is gonna be around for a long time.
You know, Tom is he's a nose to the grindstone kind of guy. I mean, in some ways, he really is all music business. He's a real professional rock and roll guy. And, I'm a punter compared to Tom.
Gowan was very inventive. People don't realize this, but he was a classically, a virtuoso piano player, but he's an incredible performer.
What's really cool about Rush is they were Canadian rock and roll before there were even Canadian rock and roll rules. Rush were kind of like the Guess Who in that they were achieving lots of airplay and lots of success south of the border without the help of CanCon rules and radio. Those not familiar with that, when CanCon was introduced, radio stations had to play a certain percentage of music. It was mandated by the government that music had to be Canadian. And Rush had achieved success without that, and the same thing with the Guess Who.
I find Rush to be like an amazing saga of comic books. Those are the, people who are into comic books and Comic-Con, those type of people are into Rush, because they take them places every single time.
Platinum Blonde, great band. They opened for us back in the early 80s before they became really big. Mark Holmes is a great guy. First show we ever did with them, they opened for us and he asked to borrow my hairdryer and he gave it back to me broken, and then I couldn't do my hair.
Alanis Morissette is really interesting because I think she was a game changer for a lot of women and empowerment. It just took it into a different era.
I remember vividly just sitting across the table from her thinking, oh my God, I'm getting the biggest crush on this woman. She was so funny and bubbly and smart, and I wanted to write songs with her. So I said really shyly, well, I'd really like to write songs with you. And she said, well, I'd like to write songs with you. And I didn't realize she was also writing with about 100 other people in Toronto. She was a writing machine at the time. This was about 2 years before Jagged Little Pill.
When you talk about Bryan Adams, you were talking about like international superstar, but the absolute perfect Canadian. When you listen to Bryan talk, he's so unbelievably humble. You could say, Bryan, you've done this and you've done that, and oh my God, you are like known worldwide. You're a philanthropist, a photographer, and a rock and roll star extraordinaire. And Adams will kind of look at you and go, so? It's good, I'm doing all right. And you think, that's so perfectly Canadian.
Blue Rodeo to me is one of the quintessential bands that is, Canadian.
I just love these guys. I love them as a band. I love what they represent. There's a real integrity to them, and they just burst out with Try, and it was just wonderful to see that because they were such warm guys, such genuine people. And I think that's one of the things that people really relate to about them, is they're so genuine, they're making great music, and they don't compromise. Canada, I'm a very, very proud Canadian, and I want to wish you incredible 150th.
I'd like to wish the glorious North, Canada, 150 years of happiness.
Happy birthday, Canada. I love you.
Happy birthday, Canada. Your 150th birthday means a lot to me because I'm almost that old too.
Happy 150 Canada, and to our Indigenous brothers and sisters, we know that you've been here so much longer than all of us. I honor you.
Canada? It's kind of weird talking to you like you were a person, so I'll talk to you like you was a girl. Canada, happy birthday.